No, you cannot transmit video via Mavlink. Yes, you can transmit video via a Mavlink. Nobody's done it yet. Nobody's set up the software. The hardware's there. Uh, if we could break it up into digital data and transmit it over the Mavlink connection, sure we could. But again, nobody's chosen to do that. And there might be constraints. It might be really bad video, but you can pretty much transmit anything over a carrier wave that you want. But my main playing around last night was just because I was getting ready to dig down deep into telemetry, because I've got to make some decisions, and I think I have. And I was just playing with Mission Planner last night, because I haven't played with it probably in 4 years worth of versions that much. I did install it fresh when I was flying the Flame Wheel 5-6 months ago, before I had my fall and brain concussion. That was June 6th. Boy, still not recovered from that fall completely. Worrying that I'm taxing myself too much lately and backsliding on that brain problem. More on that later. So, because I'm going to do a lot about telemetry in here, I was just put it up last night because the ground station was right here. I just happened to spur of the moment reach back, and actually what I got, if you see it here on the bench, it's just a clear click USB capture card. That's all it is. Any capture card will work. This is one I used on mine. This is old. This is what I used on the rover back before I could even consider goggles. Back in 2012, 2000, those things were expensive. I couldn't justify them at first. So while I was going in and talking about, again, all of these things that you could do from all of this sensor data and changing how many lines, it's 16 lines of 3. That may be too much. No, you can actually do that. It's not very readable there unless you undock it, and probably well, you even send it full screen. It don't work too well, does it? But I guess all of these could be clicked on in a distance from moving base. Set view count to 8 by 8. You can do you can just I was just illustrating that, and just kind of really refreshing myself with this as I was getting ready to do what I will be doing later, some deep telemetry videos. In here, you've always been able to swap it with the map over here. All these values right here, and all the ones in this list that you can get to immediately, and this isn't all of them by far. You can get to more of them right here under Mavlink status, and I'll click oops, you can see as I click, let them scroll right to left, we're just into the C's now. There's just a plethora of telemetry values that are occurring constantly with Mavlink. Everything in this quick view, all of this comes from telemetry. Everything in this heads-up display, was what they call it, is all from telemetry data. None of it comes from any other source. But in addition, with Mission Planner, like I said, I just reached around and grabbed the USB composite video to USB, plugged it into one of the outputs on the Eagle Eyes diversity controller, and right here you can tell it what device it is, what video format you want to use, start it and stop it, and you can enable it to overlay the HUD display out here. And I just click that on just as a, I wasn't trying to say this comes through telemetry, because you right now, no. It comes from a composite video feed from the 1.2 receiver. It comes from the output of a diversity controller on two 1.2 receivers, but you see what I'm saying. If you only got one video receiver, you're going to hook it to that. You're going to use a Y cable and put the other one in your goggles, your monitor, whatever. But you've always been able to put it into your ground station monitor. Didn't need to have a monitor. Back in the days when we were flying monitors only, and when I say we, I mean more the sport. I was flying quads probably 2012, 2013, but prior to that it was all rovers and stuff. People just used to use a monitor with a sunshade on it at first. This lets you put it on your notebook computer that you were taking to the field. I haven't gone to a field hardly ever that I didn't take my notebook ground station and the antenna substation, whatever you want to call it. So through the use of a analog digital converter, the USB capture card, whatever you want to call it, that's really what it is. It's an analog digital converter, but it uses a 16550 chip in it. It's just a way you could put your video right here in this screen and still be able to see your map up over here. Or you can do it the other way around and be basically looking at your map. I always like to look at this and see where I was flying and where it was in the survey mission and that kind of thing. Vital bits. Hey, vital bits. Oh, yeah, the hair, boy. A friend of mine's wife had to have a double mastectomy, and we all got together and did a big fundraiser for her. And at the time, you know how it is after a few beers. Everybody said, we should all grow out our hair and donate it to Locks of Love in her name. And everybody said, yeah. You know, it wasn't like it was a stupid decision or anything. But sadly, 1 month before we went back to cut off her hair for her, I was diagnosed with cancer. Very far down the road, an aggressive cancer. So I decided to keep it myself and grow it out and give it for me for Locks of Love, which I eventually did. I had it cut for, well, I never did have it out before I retired because you couldn't in my professions. Well, you could. You just weren't going to make much money. You always can. But just before COVID, like 2019, we were going to go out on stage for just a little hometown music. Music's really big around here. And go through 50s, 60s, 70s music, that kind of stuff. And for the 50s, our hair was going to be very short. As we came out to do the Beatles music, the 60s, it was just going to be a little longer, where the 70s, etc., we would be fully dressed out. And at the same time, mine was starting to turn gray. So I figured one last hurrah grow it out a second time for kicks and grins, because it wasn't really that much of a problem for me. I'm probably the Albert Einstein, absent-minded professor's ruffled hair type anyway, so then COVID came along and all the music venues around here shut down. So yeah, we all said when we get out of the Navy, the things we said for sure was we were going to let our hair grow and we were going to draw unemployment until we could retire. I don't know why everybody in the compartment, the coop we called it, and in the squadron, yeah, I'm going to grow my hair out and draw unemployment. We figured we could draw it for 1, maybe 2 years max. I lasted 2 weeks before I was pounding the pavement because all my friends were at work all day. There was nothing to do. I really, literally, 2 weeks after I got out of the Navy, 2 weeks after I got home from the Navy, I was working in the federal building for the National Climatic Center under NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, National Commerce Associations above that. But I was attached not as a military person. I was working as a civilian at the National Climatic Center in Asheville, North Carolina on the mainframe computer, doing all the data manipulation for the weather data. It's the main weather computer and main weather center on the face of the planet. So I didn't last long at all, didn't grow my hair out at all, and did not draw. Well, no, I went down to the unemployment office, and you got to wait so long. I think I turned in 2 cards for 2 weeks of looking for a job that I hadn't really done, and then the 3rd week I just went out and found a job in about an hour. And no, JD, you can't do video through telemetry. Well, again, I guess you can. Nobody's done it yet. I still think you can. Not analog, maybe, but you could convert it to digital and then send it digitally over Mavlink, and then it shouldn't be any different than sending the battery voltage, and then pick it out on the other end and display it. You might not, with the current technology and programming and hardware, not have time to do it without taking all the cycles away from the ground station and the platform enough to crash them both, but it could be done. Mr. Long, boy, you intrigued me there. Open HD, EZ Wi-Fi. Ooh, boy, is there another solution to my telemetry problem? Because I've tried again with the Bluetooth. Haven't tried with the Wi-Fi yet today, and haven't exhausted everything with the Bluetooth, Mavlink over Bluetooth, but I'm still not getting it going. Even with that new 6.1.0 version, or 6.10 version. And I did show how to, wow, I had done that. It's just a little USB capture card. It's $10. It's really cheap. It's what all we had to, were only available to us poor people back around the year 2000 or so. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look them up, sir. I'm going to, this piece of paper I have in my hands, going to get put in place of honor right here on the table where it's within arm's reach, so that, yeah, I can reach and get it any time and remember exactly what I'm going after. So, sorry about that last night. Didn't really mean that little. It was just a little fun 5 minutes for me, getting ready to do what I'm getting ready to do tonight with telemetry, which is, why, this is going to be interesting. Thank you all so much. Have a good one.